Well, a positive trend in the coronavirus fight tonight after a slight uptick over the weekend. ICU cases there are now at 108. That's the lowest since late March. The good news comes as the state has ramped up testing. We have live team coverage for you tonight, and we do begin with WJZ investigator Mike Helgren. He's live at a CVS location in Severn, one of many places, Mike, where you can now get a test.
And Nicole, it's free. CVS does tell us, however, that the labs are backlogged, so it could take up to 7 days to get your results. You do need an appointment here. You do not need an appointment at a number of other sites across the state. And tonight we are hearing from a local woman who survived the coronavirus and does not want anyone else to go through her ordeal. Chia Matthews is one of more than 500,000 Marylanders to test positive for the coronavirus. Just before her graduation from Coppin State, the 27-year-old was hospitalized at Johns Hopkins for 3 weeks and on a ventilator for 6 days, as she told CBS Sunday Morning.
I really could not breathe at all. I just felt no air, no nothing. It was scary. It was terrifying. It happened fast. I didn't know where it came, it just hit.
Her story is just one of many as coronavirus remains a threat across Maryland.
I've never been that scared in my life. I didn't think I was coming home. It was hard.
While people hit the beach in Ocean City, several more restaurants have closed or are limiting indoor dining after staff tested positive. But Governor Hogan tweeted the trends statewide are encouraging, with key numbers holding steady. According to the governor, the state's positivity rate is below 5%, although by Johns Hopkins count, it is above that recommended benchmark. ICU bed usage is at its lowest since late March. That's not the case in many southern and western states, where positive cases and hospitalizations are surging.
What we're looking at is what I think is going to be one of the most unstable times in the history of our country.
Health officials urge people to continue to wear masks in public. President Trump wore a mask during an appearance in Maryland over the weekend. His administration is now pushing for schools to reopen in the fall. Governor Hogan says Maryland is working on a plan that would combine classroom and virtual instruction.
We will have an all virtual option for families that we know just are not going to be comfortable sending their students, their children back to school.
And individual school systems have until the middle of next month to submit their plans to the state. Reporting live in Severn, Anne Arundel County, Mike Helgren, WJZ.
All right, Mike, thank you. Let's bring in Paul Gessler now. Paul, it was a perfect pool day, was the key word there. A chance to cool down, and now for the first time this summer, you can take a swim at city pools, but things are looking much different to say the least, right?
Every day is a perfect pool day, Rick, so long as those thunderstorms go away. There are still people here in the Patterson Park pool, but even before coming here, you need to make a reservation and to have a ticket for a specific time. Even once you're in, though, if you're not in the water, you need to have a mask on.
Oh, I'm hearing splashing, I'm hearing water, I'm hearing people playing. It's the sounds of summer.
Nearly a month into summer, and it's starting to finally look like it.
It's blue, it's clear, it's relatively cold.
At Baltimore City's 5 park swimming pools, it's day 1 of a strict reopening.
COVID-19 swim season 2020.
This is the first time I've immersed myself in a body of water since the pandemic began.
Oh, it feels great. That's for sure. It's better than a hose on the sidewalk.
The first families of the season say they are fine with the reservations and restrictions.
The reservations were really easy. If there was going to be a long line outside, we probably would have turned around.
A pool of this size will normally hold 200 people, so right now we're doing 50 people per session.
In addition to the 25% capacity limits, your reservation is only good for 90 minutes. After that, there's a break like this one at Roosevelt Park so that staff can get ready for the next shift.
There's not very many people here, honestly, so yeah, I do feel pretty safe. I feel like it's worth the slight risk in order to be able to have this experience.
No locker room access, directional decks, and distancing required. Masks, they need to be worn everywhere outside the pool.
That they're doing a really responsible and good job of taking care of us.
Staff here got the pools ready in just 3 weeks in what would normally take them months. Open just in time as summer temperatures have been above average.
It's tough to not be in a pool during that time.
Back live now, where 6 other neighborhood pools in the city are set to open next week. In addition to pools, basketball and bocce courts, exercise equipment, and playgrounds all reopened today. For now, reporting live at 6 at Patterson Park, I'm Paul Gessler for WJZ.
Paul, thank you. New evidence tonight. The coronavirus pandemic is running rampant in many parts of the country. The total number of cases reported nationwide has now reached 3.3 million, and that includes nearly 61,000 cases in just 24 hours. Florida reported more than 15,000 of those new cases, shattering the one-day record for any state. Now, nearly 20% of all COVID tests in Florida have been positive, that over the past 7 days.
Well, new at 6 o'clock, a retired emergency room doctor in Ellicott City thinks he may have a better way to protect healthcare workers from COVID. This is called the ZBox, named after Dr. H.J. Zwally. It's basically a plastic box that can be placed around a patient as soon as they arrive at the ER, and it has a resealing arm ports for doctors and nurses while completely enclosing the intubation space. Dr. Zwally also says the device can solve the PPE shortage that many hospitals are facing. The first box was put into use in April at the Doctors Community Medical Center in Lanham.
The University of Maryland now getting ready to reopen its campus this fall. Of course, there's going to be new health and safety measures in place, but not everyone is on board with the idea. Thousands of campus workers and their unions say the university isn't doing enough. They claim the focus is on keeping students and faculty safe, but not the people who maintain or clean the campus.
We've been on the front line since this virus started. We've been on the front line, but it seems like management is not along with us.
People are having to choose between a paycheck and their safety.
In a statement, the University of Maryland says all employees must view a safety training video and read a pledge to follow safety practices. Everyone on campus will be required to wear a mask and self-screen for symptoms, plus voluntary testing will be made available for everyone. The union is calling for testing and screening to be mandatory for everyone. The fall semester is scheduled to start on August 31st.
Well, Maryland is now joining a growing number of states suing the Trump administration over its new rules requiring international students to take classes in person or stay in order to stay in the country. Attorney General Brian Frosh is joining that suit and calling this rule senseless and cruel, along with calling for a temporary restraining order against it. This comes as schools nationwide try to make plans for the fall, with many turning to a mix of in-person and online learning because of the pandemic. The Department of Homeland Security says this rule hopes to encourage schools to reopen.